You. They make it smarter. Oh, now. About to witness Nostradamus, the awesome, crushing might of KNUCKLE! Woo! Welcome, my friends, to a show that apparently seemingly never ends. Knuckle Up number 297. I am your host, EUGENE S. Robinson. We're here to talk very specifically about UFC Fight Night 94, a little bit about Bellator. I got Mike Colgan as a known associate and friend of Knuckle Up. We got to give some love where love is due. Those of you who saw the show earlier in the week, you know what's in here. Gonna take a live vote. But not before Bob Riley, singer for Stigmata, comes in with the sound that makes it all make sense. From Calling of the Just, the song is called Intro All of Nothing, and he sings the words that kick it all off. I'm on my way back to nowhere. Could not see so clear. I'm taking a real good look at you. Real good look at your face. Being paid back and for always nothing. Okay, my friends. All right, there you go. So we're on the new system. Strangely enough, we're not having any tech problems. Knock on something wooden like we've been having the last month. I swear to God, if you don't believe that those tech problems were caused largely as a result of them wanting you to pay attention and not try to use the old system to, in other words, forcibly, boot you into modernity, you're exactly totally wrong. It's not accidental, it happens. That's why I refuse to do Messenger. We will not do what they want, I do what they say. Oh no, we will not do what they want, I'll do what they say. Oh no. Right? Forget it. I'm not gonna do it. Well, why not? Because fascism, that's why not. But Eugene, you're always talking about Nazis. There's a difference between Nazism and fascism. As far as I'm concerned, the jury's still out on fascism. Right. Nazism, dead ideology. Spain under Franco, you're going to take me back to Guernica. Okay, so Guernica. Oh, it was terrible. Spanish nationalists were fucking terrible. They were terrible. They were terrible. Proof of the pudding is in the... Yeah, this is just distracting, right? Proof of the pudding is in the tasting, and Francisco Franco died, my memories of him as a leader of Spain, is Spain better or worse? Let me tell you something right now. I think Spain is a healthier country. Well, that doesn't... To say it's a healthier country in North Korea is actually saying absolutely zero. So I'm going to stop talking international policy and get right back to, and incidentally, where is it? Oh, God, it's across the room, so forget it. Maybe not. It's not across the room. Oh, it's not. It's right here. Hold on. Jesus Christ. The light is burning my head. Okay. Hold on. Recommend reading it. Sorry. There you go. You got your Nazi reference. You got your recommendation all in the first minute. Well, let's talk about a little bit, and this is going to be a short show. Why? Well, because we got this to talk about. But and also there were an amazing number of don't cares on this card. If you need, and I'm going to go through it right now. And usually I start at the top, but we all know what happened. And this will take 2 seconds. Albert Morales and Alejandro Perez. Yeah, I understand Hidalgo. I understand trying to but you know, you got these guys fighting to a majority draw. That tells you all you need to know. Okay, I didn't care about that. Still don't care about it. Randy Brown versus Eric Montano. Okay, that was a submission, but it was a submission in round 3. So I'm not saying that I've got a basis for don't caring or not caring outside of the fact that I didn't care and still don't care. Okay, Joey Gomez and Jose Quinones, unanimous decision. Okay, still don't care. Antonio Carlos Jr., Leonardo, and there's no, if you are one of those fighters and you hear me talking this kind of smack, you have to go back to the care, don't care preview and the disclaimer that I launched at the beginning, because I'm not going to launch it here. I say it has nothing to do with your skills and talents as a fighter. It just has to do with the fact that the UFC hasn't put a lot of marketing and weight behind you. I say that before. Afterward, unless I'm seeing a submission like Antonio Carlos Jr. and Guimaraes, then I'm going to call shit. If we're looking at a split decision, we got 2 guys like Magales last week and other dude whose name now is slipping my mind. You know, I got it. I got you. The most important, we know what you know. And that's that the most important person in that cage opposite you is that guy who's opposite you, right? So you can usher each other into fame and fortune a la Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin, or you can become hated in the nation like, you know, oh, Magales got ripped off. Who cares? So, oh, well, the other dude got ripped off. Oh, you know, it's on the tip of my tongue. So what? Who cares? So what? And for the trifecta, why are you telling me? Still stands. So Bilal Muhammad and Augusto Montano, sort of interested because of Muhammad. His name came up on a list of somebody had passed to me recently for another piece that I'm doing. And predictably, you know, it goes round 3. There were punches, TKO. All right. Sam Cecilia, did he make my list? No. And it's just as well he didn't make my list. No, because he lost to Gabriel Benitez. Round 2 submission, you know. Where does the road turn? Diana Ross wants to know. For Sam Cecilia, right now, God. So I didn't drop in until I refused to care about Maximo Blanco and Chaz Skelly. Kid Nate wanted to care about it. But having seen the fastest submission, well, now I guess I can go backward. It's weird now. It's weird because I want to talk about that. But I didn't really care about Islam Makhachev and Chris Wade, right? I mean, I didn't care about that. I didn't start caring really until Carnero and Robertson. And I picked Robertson because of all the scuttlebutt and my friends betting parlays here and there. So I had to try to figure out. So now we're in the care part of the card where I cared about everything out. So let's start going right back from Michael Johnson and Dustin Poirier. All right, and for the record, I'm going to take an editorial aside right now and talk about what's in this package. When I was doing either it was Care or Don't Care preview or If I Did It last week, I had this on right before the show ended. I said, you know, I'm cleaning out my bag. My kids, for my birthday, got me a new backpack, right? And so as part of this new backpack, I had to transfer all the crazy shit that I've been carrying around in the old backpack into the new backpack. And then I found this thing, and I go, well, it sounds like coins. And so I open it up, and I find, like, Deutschmarks, right? So it's been here for a long time. I find euros. I find outdated, antiquated things. But then I find this mystery pill, right? Now, people are always passing stuff to me at shows. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not like I'm a pillhead. You know, unless you've got Vicodin and I need it because I'm a 54-year-old, you know, jiu-jitsu player, I'm not really interested. You know, never had a drug problem, not about to have a drug problem. Some guy, Neurontin, gave me a bunch of Neurontin once, and he goes, I take it for epileptic seizures, but you should take it. It'll flip you out, man. And I took it and I started reading about all these guys who committed suicide because Neurontin took that pendulum and slapped it to one side. So I find this pill and I say, why don't you guys tell me what it is? Tell me what it is, and maybe I'll take it. Now, I thought it would stop being interesting right about there, but now people have started to vote. And some people say it's an antidepressant, which doesn't thrill me at all to take. I'm not depressed. Some people say it's a painkiller. 2 votes for painkiller. Some people say it's Indian Cialis, but they can't be sure. More people are weighing in saying it's a painkiller because it's been in the case so long since the guy passed it to me. The color has changed. It's sort of anodized. I don't know if it's a black pill with yellow writing or it was a yellow pill originally. I don't know what it is. But since I can read your tweets while I'm since I can read your tweets while I'm doing the show, and I made some big promises on my Twitter account, I want you, 1, to see if you can correctly tell me what this is because I still don't know, and 2, vote on whether I should take it before the show is out. I was going to take it at the top of the hour, but then I wasn't sure how that was going to play with the rest of the show because I don't want to be like in the middle of the show and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with Eugene? And the people who come in later have no idea it has to do with a 12-year-old pill that some lunatic at an Oxbow show gave me. So there you have the setup. So let's jump right in with the Poirier and Johnson. And I call this. Kid Nate, right here, my notes written down. Kid Nate picked Poirier. He goes, Poirier had been on a run, had a lot of upside potential. Super large amounts of upside potential for Dustin Poirier. You know, he had beaten this guy. He had beaten yes, he stumbled in his the loss against, but he was on a tear. He was at the bed. He's on ATT and he's training. He got Robbie Lawler in his corner and Mike Thomas Brown in his corner. Mike Thomas Brown, Fred and Knuckle Up. Yeah, baby. And you know, dude, Michael Johnson is on the, you know, he's the older fighter. All right, man. Okay, we got 1 vote for do not take. All right. That's probably very smart. That is probably very smart since I need to go to work tomorrow and maybe I'll go into some later my plastic surgery disasters, by which I mean pills. But anyway, so I think I have already. I will don a shillelagh myself for mentioning ketamine. So so you know, you got the older fighter and Johnson. We got somebody who said it and they put it best. They go, you know what Michael Johnson was smelling? Michael Johnson was smelling Bellator. There was a smell of Bellator in the air with Michael Johnson. Johnson had Bellator in the air. It's like, yo, bro, you lose this fight, bro. What do you think is gonna happen? What do you, the guys? Yo, what has he got? Like a lot of wins, but like 10 losses. You know what that means? Those don't always mean to me that a guy sucks, especially if a lot of those losses are decision losses. They mean to me that dude's not doing due diligence, by which I mean, if you heard me talk about Uriah Faber showing up, asking the refs how their families are, how their wives, their kids are, how everybody, how you remembering names, you know. So when it comes to, you don't think this shit adds up when it comes down to making a decision, everybody feels the same thing. That Uriah Faber in this instance, he's a good guy. So either you got a guy who doesn't have a winning personality, his team doesn't have a winning personality, hard case, or many number of different reasons. It could be that he's not all American. You know what that means. Or it could be in anything. Or if the guy is getting pasted, to me it means the guy's unlucky, or he sucks, or he's a guy you can't trust. A gict. For those of you who need the glossary, somebody provided it. There are a couple of people who want to put it down in FAQ. Frequently asked questions. They want to go through what a gict is and what a gict is. You guys, when somebody says, I don't know what the fuck you said, you should pile in there. Help out. Guy or gal I can't trust. But Johnson is not that. And let me tell you something that is a little controversial, just a little bit. And I fought MMA matches, and it's never really entered my mind because you fight enough, and you're just like, no, you just never know. And I had like 11 fights before the fight SF Fight Club, SFFC, before it went belly up. But, you know, first of all, the weigh-in was heavy. Shit was heavy, you know, because the reality of it is that there is no way that Dustin Poirier saw it going the way that it was going to go. Not a single fucking way. And he said, man, my confidence is peaking. You saw in the pre-fight thing, my confidence is peaking. Confidence is peaking. Your confidence is peaking. So now we've seen something pretty interesting and compelling. We've seen confidence go toe-to-toe with desperation. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have dinner tonight. But if there was some desperate individual who needed me to do something else, I guarantee you that my level of confidence is not going to carry me to dinner if I got somebody who's trying to make QTAT, quick time cross town. So he comes in with the best team ever, the best camp ever. He comes in, why am I even fighting this scrub? And the controversial thing I was going to say was do you remember the Chris Rock skit where he interviews black boxers, about white boxers? No, don't get your fingers off the fucking keyboard and don't start with me with this. Oh, why is it always about race? You got to know that I'm one of the least interested people in race ever. It just bores the fuck out of me. But this is just another color on the palette of a conspiracy, not even a conspiracy, but just undershadings of meaning that affect how you understand things. And I'm not even saying it's racial, but it's not about race. And you go back, look up the Chris Rock thing. Maybe somebody will put the link to it. You look up the Chris Rock thing. He's interviewing black boxers about white boxers. But the difference is, and why I predicted way back when I wrote the first national piece on MMA, look, I got my Trump hand motions. My first national piece on MMA was huge. Sports reporting before that was a mess. It was a mess, folks. It was a mess. I came along, wrote a piece on GQ, and what I said, people asked me at the time, MMA is going to be huge. You know why? Because it's a combat sport where white dudes are competitive. And nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it. It was, to me, as controversial as saying most of the guys who play in the NBA are black. I don't even know if that's fucking true, but it seems like it. I know the numbers at this point bear out my point, but, I have no problem calling a spade a spade. And the reality of it is that, white folks have seeded boxing for a lot of different reasons. The number one most compelling reason being no fucking sports mom wants to see their kid headgear or not, get buffeted about. The guys I know who still have their kids in boxing are guys with either absent moms or full custodial dads. These are the white guys I know who have their kids boxing. Or the kids pick it up and they do it at the boys' club and they tell their mom, oh, I'm just doing a workout. But MMA and wrestling, you got lots of suburban moms. Wrestling is great. Your father wrestled. The kids wrestle anyway. It's fine. And that's the genesis of that. But I still believe the same thing Chris Rock talked about with black fighters looking across the ring and seeing a white fighter. A little bit here, not so much in MMA, because you will get murked. It doesn't matter race, color, creed, gender, sexual preference. You will get fucking murked. But it doesn't help when you're giving the other guy fuel, like Dustin. you gotta be able to glean whether or not, there are two types of fuel. There is octane, high octane, which will make the car go faster. You don't want that. And there's sugary fuel that you put fucking half a cup of sugar in somebody's gas tank, and that car, presently like my Chevy, runs like shit. Why? Because I bought some off-the-shelf thing and poured it in the tank. This will really add some tiger in my tank. The car's like, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm a high-powered precision machine. Why don't you put that stuff in your fucking, your shake? That's the kind of stuff that you want to give somebody like a Michael Johnson. How do you crawl inside Michael Johnson's brain pan? If you want to bring me in as a PR consultant or a sports advisory guy, I would tell you the way you get inside somebody like Michael Johnson's head is be nice to him. Be nice to him. And if you don't think that makes a difference, you haven't fought somebody that you're friends with. I'm a different cat. I started boxing in the boys club, and they had me boxing my friends, and I bashed their brains in. However, my first Grappler's Quest, first and second place for the Grand Slam, went with a guy on my team. I was like, oh, Eric, it's great. Me and Eric, it'll be just like training. We'll have a go out, whatever. Gentlemen, and Eric tried to fucking murder me, and he did. Took first place. I was like blinking on the sideline, standing behind the little banner like, how the fuck did that happen? How the fuck, what the, where was that guy? I've been training with this guy for months. Where the hell did he come from? Killer instinct. It's going to be a callback later. Write that down. Killer instinct. It's not like I don't have killer instinct. I pick my targets. I didn't think a guy who I roll with every day was going to be trying to kill me. He wanted to win. He won. How do you crawl inside somebody like Michael Johnson? Just be nice to him. Just be nice to him. That's it. Be nice. Hey, man. Hey, buddy. Shake his hand at the press conference. You know, talk about how great he is. Maybe at the weigh-in, do some kind of, instant viral thing, like you bring him flowers and, you're going to, and you smile and wave and you go, hey, man, can we touch, we touch gloves and say, hey, can we touch in the middle? And then you fucking bring the hammer down. But this dismissive shit, oh, boy, more. Hey, when I'm fighting, I'll do that stuff to people. I did that today to a guy just to see. He said he was a white belt, but I didn't trust him. He looked Brazilian. So I start out the match and I go, I face plant him. Because usually that sets people off who have bad upbringings. If somebody does it to me, I'm like, I got this. So Johnson is sniffing. He's looking at guys around him making the big. He's a Rodney Dangerfield guy. I get no fucking respect here. What, I only got one guy who doesn't want me to take this pill. What, are you kidding me? Well, that's not such a vote of confidence. Okay, no, two guys. Don't do it. Take it. What's the worst that could happen? Johnny Cakes. There you go. Somebody who doesn't give a fuck about me. Now, that's the kind of guy who I trust. Take the pill. Why do we take the pill? What's going to happen? What's the worst that could happen? I haven't taken it yet. Right now, Johnny Cakes, you're being outvoted. I got 2 votes against no. I just want to know what it is before I choose not to take it. And I can't get a straight answer. So he's fucking, there's this adjutant during the weigh-in, and after the weigh-in, and touch gloves and come out fighting, and then it's a fight, and then it's a bing, bang, biff, boom, dude is down. Down. Like starchy down, like John Matua down. This is MMA Journalist of the Year type shit. Call back John Matua. Like UFC number 2 or 3. Get starch bite, Tank Abbott, and his hands freeze in the upward position. Dustin Poirier's legs were like, bring, it like some cartoon cockroach that just about died. Bring, and Johnson follows him down and beats the butt, and then they get interrupted. How bad was it? Bad enough for Miragliotta. Was that fight? I'm confusing my fights now. Miragliotta lost a shoe. What the fuck? I thought, man, he's got long legs, is what I thought, because I saw a shoe here, and I saw a shoe here, and I saw his body here. And it was the way they cut it. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, how tall is Miragliotta anyway? Well, the dude's got his legs all over the cage there. No, he lost his fucking shoe trying to save Dustin Poirier. And now people are scandalized. Who was the commentator? I didn't get in the top of the hour. I couldn't hear. Oh, that's not nice. And then he goes back to his corner. And Johnson said, somebody went back to his corner, he probably said the same thing. Oh, that's not nice. He's like, fuck him. Man, that's worth gold. That's gold. Unscripted, unplanned, honest. Give me, I mean, people don't understand. There's some guy, My Night with a Nazi, my piece at Ozzy.com. There's some guy who's like, man, you're fucked up. You've been answering all these comments. How sensitive do you have to be? And he actually made some, and I wrote him back. I said, hey, you know, hey, you are a punk ass bitch or something. I don't know what I said. Something horrible and hateful. And he wrote back and he said, you know, and he said something really cutting and really funny. It's like I wrote it and I was like, high five. That was fucking great. That was great. Like I said with my whole My Night with a Nazi piece versus my Dinner with the Devil piece, what I said is that, like, essentially, man, I respect, like, a friend of mine was, when they first opened up Vietnam to travel, went there, and I go, man, don't they hate Americans now? After he goes, no, they love Americans. It's Russians they hate. Better a good enemy than a false friend. And I was like, yeah, fuck, I like that. I better a good enemy. So he gets starched. Johnson goes over and is like, you know, first he's doing like money, money, money. I want money, 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 which is right because he just shit whatever plans they had. What are they gonna do with Poirier? Company guy. Let's call him Donald Cerrone Jr. We're gonna do with that guy now. Are you saying that Dustin Poirier is Lost Battalionage? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think he knows right where he is. But where he is a place that's not as desirable as it was 3 days ago. And then he goes over to him and says something horrible and hateful. And they what are your feelings when they go over and hug after the match, especially if there's been a big buildup? Don't you feel like you're listening to Johnny Rotten say, ever get the feeling you've been ripped off? And then they ask him, they said, you know, Mr. Nate Diaz, what all the animosity? Well, you know, that's part of the fight game. Lead up for the game. And, you know, the guy's a warrior, and I got respect for anybody who's a warrior in here. Yeah, the most important person to me is that person opposite me in the cage. You know, we danced well tonight. We got paid well. I care about that guy. I'm going to be sad if Conor McGee dies. Yeah, okay, I got that. Michael Johnson will not be sad if Dustin Poirier dies. And I prefer that. I don't need my chaos canned, even though it comes in this little screen or maybe a big screen. Rousey is going to give me a TV, and now we're going to have to. You're going to have to endure the painful misery of me trying to hook up a TV so I can watch the fights on the TV. Jesus Christ, I just want to use it as a monitor. Hook it up to the computer, to the TV, and then maybe the VCR. Connect the VCR so I can watch all the VCR tapes I got. So people can't, and it's become like an issue. Are you shitting me? Are you absolutely out of your mind? Unscripted moments are what I live for. A guy is getting the thing and he starts crying. Boom, I'm there. Don't sell me on that Hollywood shit of what is it? The thing. Sincerity is everything, and once you got that fake, you got it made. Nah, don't give me that. Don't give me that. I want the real. You know what's creepy? I tell you what's creepy. What's creepy is having sex with a porn star and then having a dark moment of the night in the middle of having sex with a porn star where you start to cross-reference what they've done in movies to what you're doing now. Not what they've done, but how they've done it. Trying to figure out, oh, are they faking it there? Or are they faking it here? Are they faking it here or are they faking it there? Listen, I have people who are like, Eugene, what's your problem with trans people? I don't have a problem with trans people. I got a problem with trickery. And this is very specifically in light of the discussions that came up when Crying Game came out. Well, you just attracted to the person. So what difference would a penis make? I'm attracted to the person because of what the person represents to me. If all of a sudden somebody jumped up and said, hey, guess what, Joe? I'm a goat. I would have to rethink the fact that I've been having sex with a goat. I might have liked all your goaty characteristics, but that really wasn't part of my plan to have sex with the goat. Oh, Eugene, are you saying trans people like goats? I'm not saying trans people like goats. If we're talking about pre-op transsexuals, trans folks, what the person represents to me is a female individual without a penis. In actual fact, what the person is a female person with a penis. I understand that. I'm all in. Change my pronouns. I'm all in. But I still think if I'm pulling off the panties, it's an unacceptable level of surprise for me to then find a penis, unless I've gone in for penis. And part of my reasoning behind that is reality is confusing enough without fundamental levels of trickery. And you say, oh, it's not trickery. I just want somebody to know. It is trickery. You know what a cult is? A cult has one of the easy to walk away definitions with a cult is it's got a graduated system of knowledge or understanding connected to observing whatever it is you want to observe. Now, if you would tell me, Eugene, I want to be a Christian, boom, I give you a Bible that God love you, worship as you like. Eugene, I want to be, a Muslim, boom, give you the Quran, you go off, you tell you, you're done. You do whatever you want with it. I want to be a Jew, Eugene, boom, give you the Torah, the Talmud, get yourself a rabbi, boom, you're there. I want to go into Dianetics, but you got to come back and you got 14 different levels. You got to answer this questionnaire. You got to go through the auditing process. Nah. Because they're preparing you for their version of reality. Honesty is the best policy is what I'm saying. So Michael Johnson tells him, whatever he said to him, and in his corner reprimands him. He goes, oh, he could go fuck him. That was the most honest thing that we saw the whole night. And for which it's not just that the guy was my pick. So we've got a revivified Michael Johnson. Poirier is not too badly damaged. I would even pay to see him fight again. Do I feel happy because my pick won? Yes, I do. However, that is countered by the fact that I picked Hall over Derek Brunson, and that was a problematical pick. And you see Hall. I want you to zap root of this. You see Hall protest, right? Slow that shit down and look at his face. That's Popeye. Slow that shit down and look at his face. I have been knocked out, as I've said many a time. I've been knocked down. Only got to knock me out was Chris Sanford. He's a Gracie fighter. And I popped up too. And I protested too. And I went into my second round and promptly got choked out by him. And had to drive home wondering, like, how did I end up in Palo Alto? The fuck? I wasn't right in the mind. You can see it in the eyes. And whoever was doing the commentating, I want to say Kenny Florian. I'm not quite sure. I know, condolences go out to him. The issue with his brother passing. But, the guy said, killer instinct. He's got to discover it. You know what? Hall got glossed with that early on because he went into that match against that fucking kid who he was on the show with, who they were friendly, and everybody, Kelsey, what the hell? Not Kelsey Grammer. What the fuck is that guy? Somebody walking by, a 300-pound woman in a straw skirt. Fucking A, man. I love Pacific Islanders. You want football players? Have kids with a Pacific Islander. So, the cat who's got a white name, who starts with a K, and the man, it's just getting old. Shit sucks. You know what they said? They said cough syrup fucks with your memory as well as allergy medication. It screws up your memory. Anyway, he fought this guy, the guy who's Spanish, but he's got like an Anglo last name. Sorry, maybe text me his name. But anyway, Hall fought him, and Dana White was like, "Where the fuck did the guy from the show go?" Man, and so now it's become gets glossed with this idea that the guy lacks a killer instinct. So that's all people are looking for, His knockout of Musasi was workmanlike. But you didn't get the sense at all. You didn't get the sense at all that he, that he was going to step back from having done his work and pull on Michael Johnson, did you? No. Like Reuben Hurricane Carter, sung about by Bob Dylan. It's my work, they say. I do it for pay. I don't hate these guys. Yeah, well, think again. Hall has a PR problem. Uriah Hall has a fucking PR problem. Some of you were texting me last night or tweeting at me last night. The Lost Battalion. He is actually not in the Lost Battalion. You know why? Popping up and immediately protesting, shaking your head is enough to divert. It's like in this book, they're talking about the Sunder Commandos right now, and they're talking about being the saddest man in the history of the world, because they don't do evil, but they can do absolutely zero good, except for the one phrase that they say when people get off the trains and they're making the selections, and that phrase is, "I'm over 18 and I have a trade." That's all I can give you. That's all I can give you to save your life. Uriah Hall, by standing up and protesting, it's like repeating that phrase. Because he gets ahead of the narrative so fast that you don't have to, it's what you choose to get ahead of the narrative with. Somebody sent me a clip of Junior Dos Santos talking the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I feel better now." Every word you say, it's like a guy in a hole with a shovel digging, wondering, man, it's getting harder and harder to see. I was getting harder and harder to see. I know, I'll dig some more. And the mist thickens. But Uriah Hall is like, "No, I'm going to protest this. That was a bullshit stoppage." The first level of reporting off of it said what? Questionable decision. That's the way it goes. It wasn't a judge's decision. It was a ref's decision. I have to tell you something else. It was legitimate. It was fucking legitimate. Completely legitimate. Again, slow it down. Look at dude's eyes. Look at his eyes. He was not right. He was how not right? He was Overeem not right. He was Matt Lillian not right. But that not right saved him. In a moment of blanket need, he was, hey! In a moment of blanket of total need, he pulled it out by being outraged at the stoppage. Like I'm always screaming at the screen when the fight ends and it's really close and one guy stands up and he's like, and I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch. You get up and you, as soon as you can, as soon as that buzzer, you get up and you throw your hands in the air and you start jumping around like you won because, hey, you know what? I've been at the Worlds competing and I've gone into the finals 0-0, right? And I'm furiously trying to get an advantage on the guy not getting it. And I know it's come down to the ref's decision and the ref is holding my wrist. And I start urging my hand up, just enough so he can feel it. Not enough to so he feels like he's being led, but just enough to suggest that this is the next thing that's going to happen. And the other guy, I can see out of my peripheral vision, is just hang dog, and his hand is hanging down. And they call it for me. I'm like, bingo, baby. Guys at Sorrells laugh at me for playing the whole sight game. I wouldn't play it if it didn't work. So Hall jumps up, outraged, but he was not right. And Herb Dean, that was a clean call. But Uriah Hall lives to fight another day, doesn't go Bellator. Good man. Czech Congo. Still weird for me to see him at Bellator. Still weird. Still, we're going to be even weirder to see. Now you see things are shaping up. Things are shaping up. Chael Sonnen and Bellator. Well, what? Well, first of all, he was already working as a commentator, but you know, he says I always intended to come back, and this is not so much about cash. But guys leave, and this Conor McGregor thing has had long-reaching implications. Long, far-reaching implications. Like the most bitter guys are guys who played professional basketball, say, in the early 70s, or professional football in the mid to late 70s, because they were right on the cusp of seeing guys come in and get Rolls Royces. And I don't want to risk the Donna Shalala thing, but you know, there was a guy in my old neighborhood about 5 blocks from here, pinkish brown, baby, can you read it? Who said, "I'll mow your lawn for $20. He's tall." And I was like, all right, cool. You got your lawnmower? He goes, I got it right here. I go, yep. I'll give you finish up, I'll give you 20. Guy mows the lawn. He says, yeah, I used to play basketball, man. I saw him at the crack house across the street. This is the old house I used to live in that had a crack house across the street. It was a crack distribution point. So the crack dealers would go there, but not the crackheads. So I'd see him across the street. He's like, yep, he used to play in the NBA, he used to play for the Warriors. How the fuck does that feel? Mm-hmm. So I don't think this was so much about Chael needing the cash. I think this was Chael, the unintended effects of Conor McGregor's Rolls Royce buying. Guys sitting around going, what can I do to shit the bed? I know what I'm going to do. Shit the bed. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck that shit. FSU, baby. Fuck shit up. Yeah, I'm sure he's getting paid. I need to talk to Kogan about it and get the inside skinny if I can get him to talk. How did that come? And now it's created a situation where, all right, the UFC peeled away CM Punk to keep him out of Scott Coker's hands. You know, Scott Coker's response is, all's fair in love and war, baby. You got these guys in the payroll? I can talk to them. Don't have them on the payroll? I see Forrest Griffin sitting there cage side. If you don't think they've had the discussion with dude, you're crazy. Hey, man, you got any interest in coming back? You can fight Tito. You know, and Sonnen in great form. I'm going to fight Gangsterweight. Beautiful. Beautiful. And not like did he ever express any interest in coming back to UFC? Probably not. Would the UFC have received that news positively? Probably not. But Bellator's a different game, brother. So Hall saved himself. Brunson should get what he wants for a period of time. Dunham against Glenn. Well, Kid Nate picked Glenn. So this is only useful to me in that I picked Rick Glenn. Only useful to me in that I picked Dunham. I don't have much to say about the fight. Dunham, to me, is kind of a more successful Joe Lozon. I know you're going to get angry. You're going to get angry. But those Dunham nut jumpers, how many of you are there? All two of you? I got nothing against the guy. I mean, this is the guys who want the tournament format, who complain about it being sports entertainment and don't want it, you know, about sports entertainment. I guess guys can just talk their ways into the fight. I mean, it was a good fight. I got no complaints. You know, Glenn fucking had some near misses when where he almost got choked out. Some decent grappling in terms of the Anaconda. I was entertained. Why doesn't it feel better? You know what this says? It says the stabbing hand. You can barely read it now. I'm old enough now where I'm gonna have to redo some of these tattoos. But I feel happy that I picked Dunham, got nothing to say left. And then Kenny Robertson and Carrera. Nate picked Carrera and I picked Robertson because there was some concern about his back. I tried to have my spies in New Mexico at Jackson Wait to keep a look to see whether that was just something the guy was doing. Apparently not, so he lost. So there were a lot of I read you all the don't cares. Scully was the one that I said I would come back to with the shortest fucking the shortest submission ever in the UFC. And it's noteworthy to me for one specific, stunning reason. And that's that I love that when this is really, I mean, martial art. This is a really special and specific kind of art for me. Because you can see that, you know, you have these art movements. What do you think Cubism is about? Or Fauvism? Or Surrealism? It's like somebody who has artistic skill sitting around looking at some shit and going, oh, man, I never thought of that. Well, I could do it let me try it. Pointillism. You know, I mean, this is why you're able to group, you know, early Renaissance, Romance, neo-postmodern in terms of painting. No, Jackson Pollock was supposed to be actually a pretty good figure painter. No, I want to do something different. I want to do something different. And I'm specifically tying this into Verdum. Verdum opened the door to a kind of Remco Pardieu opening. A flying kick to the throat or the face, fuck it. Because in this way, a fighter does, do you understand what Trump is doing? And do you understand what Trump has done? Do you understand why nobody's been able to understand why Trump is doing it? I called it on the show before, and I'm going to call it on the show again. What he does is he is riding the surf of chaos. And this works as long as he has people who it didn't work against the mothers of the dead, the parents of the dead soldier, the dead Muslim soldier. That was a big fucking fail. You can't compete against people who aren't competing. They're still trying to get their head around their baby son being fucking shot in the head. You can't. You tap out right away. But against a Hillary, against anybody else, a John McCain, against anybody else, a Paul Ryan, against anybody else, you got a competitor. And as long as you got a competitor, they're fair game. And you pull them out into the surf of chaos, and you're going to win it every fucking time. Because as soon as the tide starts to turn against you, you stand up and say, "Poopy caca." You go, "Oh, shit, now he's talking poopy caca. He's crazy." Gates attacks him, not Daryl Gates, Robert Gates attacks him, and he goes, "The country's a mess." This guy is, not only does he complain about every boss he's had, but he avoids taking complete responsibility for his role in the screw-ups. Are you kidding me? The guy's a bum. Chaos. That is his chaos. And there's so many. Rhythmically, you can't pay attention to the fact that he didn't know that Russia was in the Ukraine. That he doesn't know what the nuclear triad is. That he fucking has no idea. Because he's creating, it's like when I went to Naples. And I went out to Naples and, you know, decided I'm going to go out, have some drinks, wander the town. It was like I was witnessing people running from one street fight to a next. Seriously, there were like 5 or 6 street fights. And you hear this clatter of feet. And you would, the guys that are fighting. And you walk down a couple more blocks. You know, it was like a riot in a piazza. I'm trying to get into a store. I go, Choso. Fuck. Choso to you too, buddy. I need a drink. No. It's closed. Oh, okay. And then next thing you know, it'll be November. Whoa, shit. He could ride that shit right in. He could ride his, and the world, the portion of the world that thinks the way he does is making it easier for him. And I'm not talking about people who can actually vote for him. I'm talking about other chaos mongers. The guys setting off bombs in New York City or stabbing people at malls in Minnesota. They are one and the same. At one point, somebody during the first Gulf War, maybe the second Gulf War, a Republican was talking about, we don't support their way of life. And somebody said, you know, their women should stay in the home. And it was pretty clear that the Islamists, their platform was pretty much something like, outside of the religious devotion to Muhammad and Allah, sounded pretty much like the Republican, but I don't want women wearing short skirts. I don't want them in the workplace. I think they should be with the children. I think they should listen to their husbands. This is not too, and now Le Pen is talking about how it's a worldwide movement of patriotism. No, it's a leadership crisis, a leadership void, where the more diplomatic, kind of even-handed, you know, the equanimity brought to it by someone like an Obama doesn't seem to be effective in the face of people who want extreme solutions. So you have extreme problems, extreme solutions, and these people deserve each other. We should put them on a fucking rocket ship and send them to Mars. Because if you feel, any extremist movement, whether it's Christians blowing up fucking abortion clinics, has that gotten you anywhere close to changing your opinion about abortion? Muslim fundamentalists who are blowing airplanes out of the air, has that got you any closer to thinking, hey, maybe I should give this Islam a second look? You know, in Israel, the frontier families who are the Zionist extremists, as a, you know, it's made it harder. Extreme positions way down the fucking middle with the burden of having to explain the extremist positions. And somebody who's a chaos surfer like Bush, Freudian, like Trump, are gonna play that shit. It's Berlin, 1923. I mean, how do you think Hitler? There was social chaos. We all want Dad to take care of it, but Dad takes care of Dad. History has indicated to me every single time. Read Jun Chang's book on Mao. Long March my ass. They carried him the whole way. I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally. He was carried literally. So that is the UFC Fight Night 94. That is why to lift a page from Ecce Homo, which is Nietzsche's book, that is why I am so good at the MMA thing, though I am no closer to being nominated. I suggested you all contact Fighters Only Mag or whoever makes those nominations on Twitter. Writing campaign saved my fucking life. At EUGENE S. Robinson is the Twitter handle. later on in the week, actually Monday, even though it's Face Punching Monday and Knuckle Up will debut proper on Monday, we're also going to do a If I Did It Monday because the scheduling shifts. Later in the week, Care Don't Care preview, providing there's a fight next weekend. Is there, Eugene? I don't know. You tell me. At Eugene S. Robinson. So now that we're at the end of the show, we have to deal with this pill thing. I'm presuming you guys have been voting during the show. I haven't always been looking at the screen. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Okay, the voting has stalled. 2 against, 1 for. So those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it was about whether or not I should take this pill. But you know what's funny? It's anodized because it's been rubbing against coins for about 10 years. But the more I handle it, the more it seems completely yellow on this side. And I think this is just black from the coins that it shared the tin with. So I suspect that the Indian Cialis is what this is. And I shall not take it. It's really super old, 10 years. Why somebody would come up to me at an Oxbow show and give me Indian-made Cialis, I have no fucking idea. It just tells you a little bit about Oxbow fans. So, sorry, you guys had voted for me to take it. I'd have taken it. Your loss, my gain. So that is the end of the show. It's Knuckle Up 297, this new system. I'm hoping you've been able to see the show, and it's not just me talking into my fucking computer with this new Google Hangouts thing. Hoping it works. At Eugene S. Robinson, I had a piece this past week, My Dinner with the Devil. If you haven't read it, go to ozzy.com, OZY.com, check it out. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening this far. This much, it's a little bit shorter than usual because, well, pretty much I got to go use the toilet. And it doesn't make sense just to drag it out so that I use the toilet here. You know, a buddy of mine actually went out with a woman who pooped on the bus in her pants twice. She did it twice. I said, first of all, I'll get around to why you would go out with somebody like this later. But did you ever ask her why she pooped her pants on the bus? He goes, yeah, actually I did. And what was the answer? He said, she said she was too busy. I'm not too busy. I got to go. We'll see you soon. Take care. Be careful. Look what you made me do!